1, 2, 3, let's go.
Wednesday afternoon, hoping you will tune into our show.
In a way, it's always been romanticised in songs and in poems. Indeed, in some of my songs, I might say that, I love someone with all my heart. That's a well-known expression that might be used. But when you think of it, the heart really, the love one is talking about, that you love someone, must be in the mind, or to me, in the brain. But it wouldn't wash, would it, to sing "I love you with all my brain"? It just wouldn't make any. It wouldn't have that touch. We like to think of the heart as the central feature of our bodies, which in a way it is, as the romantic organ, the organ that brings out love. But actually, that's not my opinion, my view at all. I think that the brain, and this comes back to what can the brain do. The heart really, I do love someone with all my brain is what it should be, and I think the brain also contains the mind. But it is, a phenomenal organ, and I think so often it is separate from what we appreciate. If we take, for example, a movement of our body, you move your arm. If I move my arm up like that, or anything, but let's say my arm, all we think is, well, I've moved my arm. We may not even consciously think that. We turn our head, we're not thinking, oh, I've just turned my head. Everything is kind of beautifully instinctive, so we don't even have to think about these very smooth things that we do. But going back to moving your arm, the brain depends on millions of nerve fibers to register contraction and stretching when we move our arm, for example. It has to register all that. And there's a vast mechanism, vast electrical energy going through under the surface. But the brain only permits us to feel, oh, my arm is in a different place now, if we were to think anything at all. But there's a vast, perplexing amount of neural activity going on for any movement, anything that brings in our motor side of our bodies and the way the brain operates, all of that. And to say it's phenomenal, we should actually, I always think, we should have moments of being awestruck. Now, we can't be awestruck every day, every moment of every. It'd be like wanting Christmas every day, to coin the famous song. It wouldn't be like Christmas if it was Christmas every day. So we can't constantly be in a state of awe. But actually, sometimes I think we should be, because there cannot be any more complex creations than the human body, our capabilities. We take it all so much for granted, and I guess we have to, because we have to live life. But it's beyond fantastic what we can do as humans. We don't even think about the vast things that are happening by our brain, controlling our bodies every second of our lives and enabling us through the motor energy that it generates. And also, perhaps importantly, coming back to what we've been talking about, decisions. Now, we think we make decisions. We did a thing a few months ago on free will, where I expressed the view that we actually have very limited free will, not least because our brain makes most of the decisions. We think, okay, we think about relationships. Someone falls in love. Perhaps they think, oh, I've made that decision to fall in love with that person, which just even thinking about that is clearly nonsense. You can't make a decision to love or not to love somebody. It's a decision born of within, probably going back generations, thousands of years of evolution, of natural selection, into the present day, the present person that we are, finding attractive some.
The leader of our gang will make the show go with a bang and fund the aim of everything Custis. And fund the aim of everything Custis.
Decisions. We did a thing a few months ago on free will, where I expressed the view that we actually have very limited free will. not least because our brain makes most of the decisions. We think, okay, we think about relationships. Someone falls in love. Perhaps they think, oh, I've made that decision to fall in love with that person, which just even thinking about that is clearly nonsense. You can't make a decision to love or not to love somebody. It's a decision born of within, probably going back generations, thousands of years of evolution, of natural selection, into the present day, the present person that we are, finding attractive somebody else. Now, that attraction is way below the surface. It may be that our brain, our inner person knows something about that person, and that there's a mutual similarity in some parts of our DNA, or who knows what. But the brain makes that decision. And actually, I one of my songs, and I don't mind plugging one of my songs occasionally on our podcast, but one of my songs says something about that. It's called Aphrodite's Voice. And the chorus says, and I'll probably forget this, but it says something like, we think that we can choose who to love and who to lose. We totally believe we have a choice, but we just don't realize love never finds us through the eyes, because it's the heart that creates Aphrodite's voice. And I think that says it, except I've used the word heart. I really should say technically it should be, because it's the brain that creates Aphrodite's voice. We're not making that decision. I don't know whether you like piri piri chicken, for example, but if you do, your brain has made that decision. You've not put it in your mouth and thought, what do? You think, oh, I like that. But it's only registering, because someone else will say, I don't like that. How would we know whether we like it or not? And so many decisions that we think we're making, I submit, are being made by the brain. And this is the differential. There's someone in my head, as the song said, but it's not me. And to see how our brilliance as humans is hardwired into us. Think about playing the piano. Now, the best way to mess up your piano piece is to concentrate on your fingers. And I guarantee you, from personal experience, I guarantee it's very easy to mess up what you're doing. Same as a guitar. When you've been playing a guitar for years, as I have, and as many others have, you don't actually think about, when you've got a sequence of chords, or which finger goes on where, and where, if you start doing that, you'll never play the guitar. The brain knows how to do it. It's simple as that. If I asked you to describe to me in words,
show go with a bang and fund the aim of everything customers, and fund the aim of everything customers.